Welcome to my Bake Escape. In this video, you'll see how I make the very popular hot cocoa melts that we saw come out last year. And so this year I decided to put a little bit of a spin on it and make a pumpkin spice latte cocoa melt. What you'll need to make these cocoa melts is a silicone spear or, round mold. I got this on Amazon. I think I got 3 of them for maybe $10, very reasonably priced. You will also need white chocolate. I'm using white chocolate baking chips along with marshmallows. So the marshmallows that I'm using for this recipe are the Marshmallow pumpkin pie marshmallows. You will also need pumpkin pie spice, as well as a few other tools that I'll cover later on in this video. For the cocoa base, you can use a white cocoa mix. I prefer to make my own, so you'll see that I have some dry milk in the list of ingredients. That is because I did make my own base using dry non-fat milk and a vanilla sugar that I also created. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a video on how I make all of my hot cocoa bases. So what you'll need to make the pumpkin spice latte cocoa mix is instant espresso powder, ground cinnamon, pumpkin pie spice, salt. You'll also need some marshmallows, white chocolate, and sprinkles. The sprinkles that I'm using are from the Sprinkle Pop shop. They are absolutely adorable, and I will admit that these sprinkles were the inspiration for this recipe. I just had to showcase those tiny little pumpkin spice latte coffee cups. They're really cute, and they have all the beautiful colors of fall mixed in. It's a really great sprinkle mix. I will link their website in the description of this video. All right, so once you have all of your ingredients, what I like to do is blend them into a fine powder. I use a little blender here to do that. So I pour everything into the blender cup, starting with the cocoa base, followed by the instant espresso powder, then the cinnamon, pumpkin pie spice, and the salt. I give it a few pulses until it combines into a fine powder. And there it is, the pumpkin spice latte cocoa mix. Now, when working with chocolate, when you're melting chocolate, you should really invest in a thermometer, a candy thermometer. In order for the chocolate to come out smooth and shiny, you have to make sure to melt it at a specific temperature. If it melts too high, you'll have a cloudy looking finish that just doesn't look very appealing. And then if it's not melted enough, it'll be clumpy and really hard to spread inside of your mold. So the goal for white chocolate is 110 degrees. What I did was I melted these white chocolate chips in the microwave in a glass bowl for about 15-second intervals until I achieved the consistency and the temperature. So once the chocolate is ready, you can begin filling the molds. I like to use a brush to brush the chocolate all in the inside of the mold. You want to make sure you do a thick enough layer because the chocolate will break or crack if it isn't a thick enough layer. So I do add quite a lot of chocolate and I spread it around and I try to make it spread as evenly as possible up alongside the walls and all the way to the edges. Once I fill the mold with chocolate, I place it in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes. This chocolate does firm up quickly. So once the chocolate is firm, I go ahead and carefully remove each spear from the mold. Now, what I like to do is kind of pair up each half ahead of time, and then to clean up the edges, a little trick that I use is to put some really hot water in a bowl and then lay a bowl larger over the top to have a flat surface. So the hot water is gonna slowly warm the surface of the larger bowl, and that's gonna be my little chocolate melting station. So I start by cleaning the edges of each spear because, it is chocolate and they didn't come out perfect. So I'm just gonna go ahead and melt a little bit to make them even. The marshmallows that I had purchased were just a little too big to place inside of the spear, so I'm cutting them into smaller pieces. And the thing with marshmallows is they're very sticky, so I have a little bit of powdered sugar that I rub alongside the scissors and the marshmallow just to help keep them from sticking to the scissors and to each other. I'm ready to assemble, so I start by scooping 2 tablespoons of my cocoa base into half of the spear. I add a couple of pieces of marshmallow, and then I carefully melt the edge of the other spear with my little warming station that I created. And then very quickly and carefully, I combine the two together, and I use some of the melted chocolate to kind of smooth out the edge, making sure that the seam is sealed. To decorate these, I drizzle a little bit of white chocolate on the very tops. And while the chocolate is still wet, I add some of the sprinkles. I like to set these in the refrigerator for a few minutes just so that the chocolate sets. You can store these in the refrigerator for up to a week. You can also package them and give them away as gifts or enjoy them yourself. To enjoy one of these delicious cocoa melts, place one in a large mug. And what you're going to do is you're going to pour warm or hot milk over the cocoa melt. And if you give it a few minutes, it will start to melt and open up, and you'll see all the delicious things inside. Give it a mix, and you can enjoy it. You can use any kind of milk that you like. I had just made some of my pumpkin spiced churros. I definitely enjoyed the two together. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it in the description below. Let me know in the comments if you try this recipe. Be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, have a sweet day.